Alright, King Titan next year again to my 8 subscribers. Now, I'm not even going to hold you guys for too long. You all already saw the title for this video. Where Deku had S powers. Now, for those who haven't watched Akame Got Kill, go binge watch it after this video. But I'll list off some of her abilities. FYI, that power is basically ice manipulation. She just has her own spin to it, which makes it even cooler. Yeah, I know the face bomb's going around. Let's see. She can make icicles. She can make weapons out of ice. Okay. Doesn't sound too impressive, does it? Well, she managed to make a replica limb out of ice and make a giant suit of armor made out of ice. Oh, that still doesn't impress you? Well, what if I told you she can make a whole army out of ice? Yeah, that impresses you. She can even basically create a blizzard. You heard me? A blizzard. Now that I got you hyped up for this what if, I'm sorry to say, but I'm nerfing Deku. Here's how the story goes. Remember how Asashi has frost breath? Frost breath? Didn't he have Nah, not in this what if. Asashi has frost breath, and Inko still keeps her quick. Everything basically goes right in this universe for Izuku, and he ends up gaining a sort of ice manipulation quirk. You'll understand why I say sort of way later in the story, because this may get insane. Izuku started off as any other normal kid in this preschool. They all had bright eyes, excited about what the world had in store for them. Bakugo is still the first to unlock his explosion quirk, but Izuku still can't use his quirk. The doctor confirms that Izuku does indeed have a chance of getting the quirk, but Izuku doesn't show any signs of activating it anytime soon. That is until Bakugo bullies another kid one day for their weak quirk. Izuku sees this and tries to defend the kid, but Bakugo laughs at Izuku, saying how he was even worse than the other kid. He didn't even unlock his quirk yet, and he had a feeling that he was quirkless, but was just lying about it. Izuku denied Bakugo's statements, but he didn't listen to Izuku. He and his goons attacked Izuku, but Izuku tried to defend himself. Suddenly, this cold sensation hit Izuku like a wave. It was strangely relaxing. No, that's not the right word. Exciting. He opened his eyes to see that a decently large wall of ice surrounded Izuku. He looked back at his hands, wondering if this was his quirk. To produce ice? Yeah, he could work with that, he supposed. Bakugo and his goons were shocked seeing this. Word spread of Izuku's new quirk, and he was now the talk of the school. No longer was Bakugo the big dog, but now it was Izuku. As years went by, Bakugo grew envious of Izuku due to his popularity. People were always hype Izuku's quirk as the strongest of the class, considering the multiple constructs he could make with the ice. But Bakugo saw his is better in overall power. His quirk was far more flashy than that stupid nerd's quirk, more destructive force, more maneuverability, just an overall better quirk, but no one else saw it that way. Bakugo would eventually end up challenging Izuku to a fight to see who was really the alpha wolf of the school. What Bakugo failed to realize, though, was that Izuku's quirk was a hard counter to his own, since his quirk relied on his sweat to produce explosions. Izuku's quirk allowed him to produce and manipulate ice. He could produce enough ice to affect the terrain, enough to make it colder than the rest of the land. Bakugo severely miscalculated how much ice Izuku could produce. Needless to say, Bakugo was dominated in their fight. Izuku simply froze the ground at first, but Bakugo started making mini explosions to start causing himself to sweat more, which would help in creating larger explosions. Izuku created an ice gauntlet around his arm, and an ice wall as well, blocking Bakugo's explosion. Izuku would charge and punch Bakugo in the face. Izuku would then produce snow around them, which would only hinder Bakugo in their fight. Bakugo would be disoriented from the attack, but he'd still get back up and charge back at Izuku. Izuku, in this timeline, is going to have a bit of Estet's personality in this what if. What do I mean by that? Well, Izuku is going to be a bit of a sadist. Yay. Izuku lunges at Bakugo and punches him in the gut, using the gauntlet, causing Bakugo to get knocked off his feet again. Izuku tells Bakugo to surrender, but he refuses. Izuku smirks at this answer as he lunges at Bakugo again, but Bakugo is able to successfully leap away from Izuku this time and started running around to build up a sweat. He wasn't expecting the nerd to be so strong. He didn't realize that he was getting himself into, considering Izuku would usually just make ice sculptures and slides. That would usually be all he'd see Izuku make. But when he turned back to look at him, he now saw the boy charging at him with an ice sword. An ice sword! It took a while, but Bakugo was able to build up a bit of a sweat, and he started popping off enough explosions to keep him sweating. It still wasn't enough though, as Izuku lunged at Bakugo. It was a sword in hand. Bakugo rose up his hand, with a smirk on his face, ready to blast Izuku. But Izuku blocked it by making a shield of ice that easily broke. Izuku still struck his sword at Bakugo, but the flat side of the sword though. It hit Bakugo in his stomach, causing him to reel over in pain. Izuku didn't stop there though. He then froze Bakugo's legs, and then continued to freeze the boy all the way up to his neck, effectively disabling him and making Izuku the winner in the fight. Bakugo's opinion of Izuku would change from there on. Bakugo saw Izuku as a force to be reckoned with, someone he didn't know the full capabilities of, and therefore would train even harder than in canon in order to make sure the feat like what happened back there wouldn't happen again. Izuku was now feared and respected in his school, and the strongest kid of their school. A powerful quirk paired with an ever-growing brutal fighting style made for a deadly combination, especially when the fighter was someone incredibly versatile with their quirk, always trying to learn more about his quirk. Years passed and Izuku was now in his last year of middle school. Izuku's hair ended up changing color over time, the more he used his quirk, eventually becoming an ice blue. His eyes also started to adopt a more icy appearance, not unlike his father's own. The same thing happens in canon with the teacher throwing away his papers saying that he knows everyone wants to be heroes. All of that remains the same, but when the teacher announces that Izuku signed up for UA, everyone is dead silent here. There was a little murmuring here and there about how Izuku was a shoo-in for UA, considering just how strong he was, but it never grew louder than that. Well, at least when you discount Bakugo, that is, because when he hears about the news, he's infuriated. He starts making explosions trying to threaten Izuku, but it all falls on deaf ears. Izuku just looks up at Bakugo with a completely straight face, unaffected by his threats. He raises his arm pointing at Bakugo and smiles. That's when Bakugo knew he screwed up. Izuku comments on how he's always admired Bakugo's explosions. All of that concussive and volatile force behind his quirk. It made him want to do the same thing. Causing Bakugo to become confused by this statement. At least, he was until Izuku just shot an ice explosion at Bakugo, having enough force to send him flying back, leaving everyone shocked. Not that Izuku just sent Bakugo flying, since he already knew of Izuku's strength, but more the cause for Bakugo to be sent flying back. An ice explosion. An ice explosion. This boy seriously found another use for his quirk. Izuku was someone that was completely out of everyone's league. Everyone was done from there on. Bakugo didn't even bother trying to convince Izuku to not try out for UA, since in this timeline, he has a more powerful quirk than Bakugo. Bakugo also was one-shot in class earlier, and if he told Izuku to do the same thing that he saw in canon for him to do, he'd get even more humiliated. Going back to Deku, he starts walking home from school, and he takes a shortcut. Alright. The sludge villain appears from the sewers, tries to take over Izuku's body, gets frozen solid instead, and Izuku walks away. That's it. He doesn't meet All Might in this, considering how he didn't struggle against the villain at all, and this Deku just wants to go home and take a nice hot shower, since it helps him subdue the drawbacks of his quirk. What? He didn't honestly think I was going to not give him any drawbacks, while making him super OP, right? Anyways, Deku's drawback in this is the euphoria he feels when using his quirk. That sounds a bit strange, but okay. He doesn't necessarily feel when he's overusing his quirk. Well, he does. Not in the same way most people would when overdoing something like exercise. Izuku's euphoria just continues to increase the more often he pushes his body beyond its limits with a quirk, to the point it will start to cloud his judgment, and he begins to experience frostbite. He doesn't feel the stinging and burning sensations that come with the frostbite, thanks to the euphoria clouding his judgment of his own body. But he will also be able to tell the muscle stiffness and all that. Potentially very dangerous side effects of overusage of the quirk. And since he can't produce fire to combat that weakness, like a certain half and half, we all hopefully know, he needs to find warmth somewhere else, which is why he'll often be found wearing layers of clothing, even in the summer, and taking hot showers. Actually, incredibly hot showers, honestly. He needs it in order to combat that dangerous combination of drawbacks. Now, okay, so we basically finished with this video. Just remember to go like, share, and subscribe. Let me know your suggestions and thoughts in general about the story in the comments below. And of course, I said this already, but don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe. Tiny Next out.